1MDB has sparked embezzlement and money laundering investigations across
one of the
at least
biggest
10
corruption
countries.
scandals the world has ever seen.
What may be the biggest financial scam in history.
A number of corrupt 1MDB officials treated this public trust as a personal bank account.
Follow us as we bring you into the courtroom where the biggest financial scandal in Malaysian history is being heard. By the Malaysian Insight, this is the Najib Razak 1MDB trial, and I'm Patrick Teo. The 1MDB trials welcomed a new witness, a former Deputy Chief Secretary to the Cabinet. Mazida Abdul Majid exposed the minutes of the cabinet meetings involving discussions on the 1MDB's precursor, the Terengganu Investment Authority, or TIA. She also shared on the special address that ex-Prime Minister Najib Razak updated on the generous donation by the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia to Yayasan 1MDB. Najib is facing 4 charges of abuse of power and 21 charges of money laundering involving 2.28 billion ringgit in public funds deposited into his AmBank accounts between February 2011 and December 2014. The court was informed in the morning that the prosecution's 10th witness, former 1MDB Chief Executive Officer Muhammad Hazem Abdul Rahman, had developed a fever. Deputy Public Prosecutor Muhammad Mustafa P. Kunyalam then called in a new witness, Mazida Abdul Majid. Since being appointed Deputy Chief Secretary to the Cabinet on the 12th of June 2000, Mazida had assisted in administrative work for the Cabinet meetings, special Cabinet meetings and Cabinet briefings. Even after her retirement on the 4th of March 2005, she was reappointed on a contract basis for the same position until the expiration of the service contract on the 30th of June 2018. Mazida said the 32 cabinet ministers, the chief secretary to the government, Muhammad Siddiq Hassan, and herself will meet about 52 times a year. In her witness statement, she recalled the key meetings revolving on 1MDB's precursor, the Terengganu Investment Authority, or TIA. The Cabinet, on the 12th of December 2008, was informed of the establishment of the TIA with the startup fund of 11 billion ringgit. About half of the startup capital, 5 billion ringgit, will be guaranteed by the federal government from the domestic and overseas markets through the Islamic Medium-Term Note IMTN program, while the balance of 6 billion ringgit will be secured by future oil royalty income belonging to the state of Terengganu. The TIA is to trigger many investment activities, especially in Terengganu and the country as a whole. On the 1st of April 2009, the Cabinet approved the 5 billion ringgit loan. At that time, Najib was the country's Deputy Prime Minister and the Finance Minister. The Finance Minister was given the power to set the terms and conditions. Mazida read the meeting minutes. On 10th of June 2009, Najib, who was then Prime Minister and Finance Minister, chaired the Cabinet meeting. The Cabinet was told that the Sultan of Terengganu, who was also the Yang di-Pertuan Agong then, had raised concerns on the TIA structure. But Najib assured that the issue should not prompt the government to cancel it. The meeting recorded Najib's explanation. If the TIA or IMTN is cancelled, it will cause the people and investors to lose confidence not only in the TIA but also in the government, where the country's image will be affected. In addition, it will have negative implications on the national bond market. In this regard, His Majesty has consented to the continuation of the TIA and asked the Terengganu state government to not raise the issue of TIA because it can be addressed. On the 15th of July 2009, the Cabinet was updated that His Majesty had agreed to allow the federal government to take over the TIA and the handover process timeline should be set. The following meeting on the 22nd of July, TIA was said to suffer losses of 56 million ringgit during the period 29 May to 15 September 2009. So the measures for the government to acquire TIA and the preparation of its investment plan will be expedited, Mazida read. It was also decided that TIA would be a sovereign wealth fund for the government of Malaysia. Later, Malaysian Investment Berhad was officially formed from TIA on July 28th that year. Mazida then testified that during the cabinet meeting on September the 8th, 2010, Najib had a special message. He was holding formal and informal engagements with certain parties in Middle Eastern countries, and they showed interest on many matters involving Malaysia's interests. Najib also spoke on Yayasan 1MDB, a corporate social responsibility project, and that the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Prince Sultan bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, had allegedly expressed interest to donate to Yayasan 1MDB. In fact, Najib claimed to have received the first donation and more was promised to come. He also told the cabinet that the prince requested this contribution to not be announced. He urged the government to be more creative in finding resources and allocations outside the existing government revenue network, as it gives the government more flexibility to help the people. For this reason, the 1MDB Foundation was established. Mazida read and completed her witness statement today. The hearing continues before Judge Colin Lawrence Sequeira tomorrow, with Najib's lawyer Muhammad Shafi Abdullah cross-examining Mazida. This podcast was brought to you by the Malaysian Insight. It is written by Hayley Chong Wee Kee, and I'm Patrick Teo.